Hey everyone, this is Gregory Hart. This is the Heart to Heart podcast. This is episode number 9. Today I'm going to sit down with a Major League Baseball player. He plays for the Minnesota Twins. He's played high-end baseball all across the world, from Australia to the United States. He even played in Korea. Honestly, it's a dream for me to be able to speak with someone like this, talk about their road to the majors, talk about the letdowns, the extreme joy, all the different emotions you go through, making it to this high of a level of professional anything. Professional baseball, there's a lot that goes into it. And I've been a ball fan and a ball player my whole life. So it's honestly, this is a big one for me. I've never met him before. I'm super excited to hear what he's been through and how he made the leap into baseball from softball. Everyone, please help me introduce Aaron Whitefield.
Nah, dude. I'm good. I only got quarantine all day, so I'll be doing the same thing in an hour's time.
Are you in a hotel then?
Yeah, we're in a hotel.
So are you guys in a bubble right now?
No, so we got the vaccine yesterday, like before we flew out, or yesterday, the day before. So we've got 3 days in a hotel. I mean, it should be tonight once we get our test back. We got tested the day after we flew here, and then as soon as that comes back, if you're negative, then you're fine to go do whatever. But they're just waiting to find out because we flew to make sure that no one got a positive test.
So where were you guys flying from? Like, you guys got
So
to get tested after every game?
once a week now that we have the vaccine. So we're flying from Fort Myers, Florida.
Okay.
So
So just to get a little bit of a background, are you playing right now? Like, you have played I've seen your major league at bat with the Twins.
hmm
Are you fully, like, you playing center field now, or are you still playing for it's still called the Twins, right? The team that you've been playing for?
yeah. So I'm in the minor leagues now with the Twins again, in Double A, which is the Wichita Wind Surge.
Okay. So how's that? That's obviously some
So
very competitive ball. That's all the guys that are trying to get pulled up, right?
yeah, and it's a lot of guys that I've played with over the last couple of years. It's a lot of younger guys, guys anywhere from like 22 to like 25. Some even like there's some older guys. I'd say like 22 to like 30.
So let's just start from the beginning. You played in Australia. You're born and raised in Australia. You played ball growing up, but you were a softball player, correct?
Yes, sir. I
So that,
played softball for like from 14 to 19.
when did you decide that you're like, you know what, I'm going to start playing baseball? I'm going to start throwing overhand. Well, I'm assuming you didn't pitch in hardball or in slow
No,
pitch.
I pitched too.
So that must have been
Yeah.
a weird
So
transition for you.
yeah, it was different. I mean, I played like in my age group, I'd pitch, and then when I played like men's in the older age groups, I would play short,
Okay.
or anywhere they needed me really. But it was when I went to the fast pitch World Series in Argentina, the under 19, like the junior world fast pitch, and
Nice.
I went there and played. And when I came back, a scout with the Reds was actually like, "Hey man, like, have you ever thought about playing baseball?" And I was like, "Nope." And he was like, "All right, well, like if you play a year of baseball, like just 1 year, like get your like feet wet and let us see what you look like in a year's time." And I didn't like really take it that seriously. But then I spoke to a couple of people, and they're like, "What do you got to lose?" And I was like, well, "I mean, you're right." So played like a national. I played, joined. Then they had like a state like tryout, so I went to that, made that team. Went to the nationals, played shortstop, and won the Gold Glove. And from then, like a bunch of teams contacted me, and that's kind of how my baseball path went. But at that time, I was still playing both because I couldn't give up softball for some reason.
That's fair. It's what you started with. It's what got you to love the style of the sport. And was it surreal for you? Like, I think if I played ball growing up, I just played like rep ball, just traveled a bit and could never hit a baseball to save my life. That's what really kind of held me back. But um it's got to be like a weird feeling. Like, you're kind of just like, man, whatever. Like, you think I have potential. Like, how many people do you tell this in a day? But then to actually go out and realize like you're good at the sport you're already playing, maybe you can transition that into having some higher end skill in baseball.
Yeah, definitely. And I think the other thing was like just everyone like constantly be like, you're a softball player, like this is not for you, and that. And I was like, well, I mean, and I always like class myself as like a really good athlete, so I was like, I mean, I want to like show these people that like, I can do this too, and I'm gonna make sure I do it better than you. So I had like that cocky side of like, I want to, now that I'm playing this, I want to be like really good at this too. So,
Oh, for
and
sure.
I think, and at the start, it was kind of like something new. And, I feel like I got to a stage in softball in Australia where like, you can't really get any further than like that. They have the ICs and I was like already on track to be in the men's team, and I was only like 18 years old. And like, I was just like, with baseball, you have all these other levels. You can go, the major leagues. Like, why not just give it a shot? Like, I've heard of some softballs that have tried it, and I was like, let's give it a shot. I got nothing to lose. And when I had all these teams contact me, then I was like, wow, this is like, there is a chance of this happening. And it got me to here.
That's got to be a pretty sweet feeling though, man, to have all these different people wanting to talk to you and talk about where your career could take you and what they can do for you. And I'm sure that there's probably a mixed emotion or a mixed amount of people that say they can do something for you or try and promise you the world, or you got to try and keep your guard up to make sure that you're doing what's best for you and what you want. But with playing in Australia and playing that really high end softball, you obviously traveled a lot. I saw some pictures. I believe you were in Tokyo, or you were somewhere over.
Yeah.
Was it Tokyo?
Yeah, Tokyo.
How is it like? What's it like playing baseball in Tokyo?
It's incredible to see. I come to America a bunch of times, and baseball is obviously a big sport here, but you also have football and basketball. So it's the mix of all three. We're in like Tokyo, like baseball is it. Like baseball is like you're a Hollywood superstar, and just like the passion and I feel like if you went back 20 years in America, it'd probably be a lot like that over here, where like all the passion, everyone was all about baseball, going to a game. That's how it is in Japan. Like you get 50,000, they'll be screaming through the whole game from the first inning to the ninth inning. When you're playing Team Japan, like they will be going berserk the whole game.
I've actually heard that their baseball program over there, like their professional baseball, is a fairly like competitive league.
Oh yeah, I mean, they make as much money. I think the players, like if everyone's seen Shohei Ohtani, I mean, like he's one of the best players in MLB right now, and he was one of the best players over there. There's a lot of guys that could play in the big leagues here, but why would you want to leave home when you're making really good money over there? And that, so I would say I'd say it's probably easily the second best besides the big leagues over here.
So you've been around a lot, obviously. Like you started off in Australia, you played for, it was the Australian World Baseball Classic.
Yes, sir. Got to play in Korea, Taiwan, Japan. Play with Team Australia in Mexico. It's been a crazy last like 5 years.
Yeah, man, that's a big change for you, man. You're like, man, I'm hitting softballs. I'm playing I'm playing the most competitive I can play in my home country, and now I'm getting scouted, and now I'm playing for the Minnesota Twins. Like,
yeah, it was a really quick turnaround and a real wild time. And like the other thing I always said about softball was like, it's nothing against the sport, but like you'd have to go work during the week and then play on weekends. Like if you wanted to go play in a tournament, you'd have to go, pay for it yourself. There's always money going out and nothing coming in for softball. When I was like baseball, well, like I would do a very similar thing, like play a game that I've grown to love and get paid for it and travel the world for like free. Like it's a no-brainer for me.
Oh man, you're living like the dream of most kids that start off by playing any kind of sport, is making it to the level of ball that you're starting to play. What is it like to go see those ball clubs? Like, what is it like to be a part of the big picture, the professional game, like Major League Baseball, the higher standard of training and exercise and regiment and the on the field, off the field. You're constantly involved in the game and all the higher end equipment. And is it as nice and as luxurious as people like me would see?
So I always said to people, like, when you play in the minor leagues, like, and I don't know how much yourself knows, or like, people listening know about the minor leagues, but it's not, what it hypes up to be like. You're playing professional ball, but you're not making very much money. You got to pay for a lot of your stuff. You're not playing in the biggest towns and that. It's fun. You get to travel and that, but like, it's not as exciting as what you think professional baseball is. And then you get higher up, and then I was doing it for 5 years, and you kind of, not you lose the drive, but you're like, wow, like I want exactly what you said. Like, is the big leagues like worth it? Is it as much as it like is hyped up to be? Like, and then obviously I got my opportunity last year, and it like rejuvenated my mindset, because everything you think the big leagues is, times it by like 3, and that's what it is. Like, it is incredible. And I mean, I was only there when there was no fans in the stands. There was like, you couldn't go anywhere. Like, I was literally in a hotel, go to the field, hotel, go to the field. And I still was like, this is the coolest thing like ever. Got to play in the huge stadiums and that. But yeah, and the other thing that was different was like, you see like someone like, we have Nelson Cruz on our team, who you think, he's played for 20 years. Like, he just wakes up, goes to the field just before the game and hits. Where like, this guy was in the clubhouse, like the first person in the clubhouse every day, hitting, like doing his routine every single day, did his same routine. Like, all those guys are still putting in, if not more work than what, people think they have to do. They just think, they made it in the big leagues. Like Josh Donaldson, same thing. Like, he doesn't have to do anything. He's in the big leagues now. But like, those guys, like, I saw Donaldson after a game hit for like 2 hours in the cage.
Donaldson?
And I'm like, yeah.
Is that Josh?
Josh, yep.
See, like, I live near Toronto. Like, I'm obviously Canadian.
Yeah.
So we only got the Jays. So everyone always cheers for the Jays. And like, I've got a big, like one of the original Jays logos. I was going to throw it up behind me just to see what you thought, but Josh Donaldson was a big part of that team. And he played third base, and he was a heck of a baseball player playing in Toronto.
Yeah.
And it's when the players move, like, when they're a part of that organization, the fans are so devoted to them. Jerseys, merch, everything to do with that player. And when they leave, like, now it's like the Jays are such a young team, and they're trying to build, and hopefully they continue to grow the way they are. But a lot of the big players end up getting picked to other teams, and then you lose kind of that momentum. But that's pretty cool. It's cool to hear you say that, even though you started playing in like the worst year you could possibly start playing in the big leagues, like not having that like huge fan base that cheering you on and just stoked to see you come to the plate, and you still were like, it was like what you think it's going to be times 3, and there wasn't even anyone there cheering you on. It was just like playing with the best people in the world, walking on that field as one of them. And that's really cool to hear that still just amped you up as much as it did.
Yeah, definitely. I think, also not having my family there when it was on, like, I bet they wished, and I wish they were there. But even just to make them proud, like, all the time that I've missed being at home over the last 5 or 6 years, kind of paid off for the second. I'm not there at the moment, but it's I've got a taste of it, and get my way back up there, so that next time I am up there, that they have a chance to come over and enjoy it with me, as much as I enjoyed it while I was there.
That's got to be a tough. That's especially COVID times. Like right now, you can't travel. If I go to the States right now and I come back, I'm locked down for 14 days. So if I wanted to go anywhere, I'm taking at least 3 weeks off work. And I thought that was a big deal. But thinking about you're in the US now, you're playing for a major league team. You had an at bat, and you can't even have your family over there to see it. That's a tough thing, man. It's hard to hear. It's especially with such a big moment in your career and in your life. Just wondering, did you watch baseball, like professional US baseball, before starting to play?
No. No. I mean, in Australia, it was different back then. Like, obviously now it's a lot easier to access games, but like, you'd have maybe like 1 or 2 games on a week, and it was pretty much either the Yankees or the Red Sox. So
Yeah.
like you'd come across occasionally like Big Papi playing. It wasn't that I'd never seen a baseball game, but it wasn't like I was like, wow, like there's baseball on tonight, I'm going to watch it. It was like there's rugby on tonight, let's watch rugby. But the Bigs baseball game on the Wii. I don't know if you ever heard of it. Like it's called the Bigs.
Oh, I've heard of it.
Yeah, so I would play that with my friends all the time, but that was the closest thing that you probably got me to like being interactive with baseball before I started playing.
That is, this is going to be you've got to have someone has written this before about you just being like, yeah, man, like I played rugby and soccer and football and I played softball and I was like, might as well give it a go. Now you're playing for the minor leagues for the Minnesota Twins. Like,
yeah, I honestly
events.
thought a lot of the guys when I first came here and I was playing and like 2 years in, they're like, oh, so like from Australia, yeah. It's like, oh, how long have you been playing baseball for? And I'd be like, at that time, I'd be like a year or 2 years. And they're like, you're kidding me, right? And I'm like, no. And there'd be like a sense of anger and then a sense of like, wow, both. And I'm like, oh, like, just how I'm still learning this game too.
See, as much as there is like natural born, or not even that way, like people who just think it just takes as much hard work, they can get anything done, they can do anything. And I'm a believer of that for sure. Like if you try hard enough at something, you should be able to succeed somewhere or another. But there is natural born athletes. There's people that are born tall or born strong or have that mental mentality of being able to push through anything and try as hard as they can be. And like you said, when you said like you didn't mean to be like it was cocky, I think is what you said when you said like I'm going to try and be the best at this. I don't think that you can play a professional sport without having some kind of a mindset like that.
Yeah, definitely. I think a lot of people like with professional athletes like, oh, they're cocky and they're arrogant and that, but like, being a part of a professional organization and having friends not only in baseball but in like football back home and rugby, it's just how you have to be. Like if you want to stick around and you want to be a professional athlete and have a long career, like you have to have that sort of cockiness and arrogance. And I mean, on the field especially, like off the field, if you're still, cocky and a dickhead in a way, you're probably not going to make many friends. But like definitely on the field and around, like you've got to, set that tone that, like I'm the best here. And like, if you want to come take my spot, like come beat me. And that's something I feel like a lot of people who aren't around like professional athletes a lot, they just see the other side of like, wow, he's kind of like super arrogant and cocky and, but it's, especially in this industry when like everyone's fighting, especially in baseball, when there's so many people fighting for your position who have just as much talent or even sometimes more, it's something that you got to set yourself away from other people with the mindset, like, show everyone, like make yourself stand out in a way. And sometimes, it's got to be the arrogant side of things.
Yeah, I see that, man. As much as you can be a team player and help teammates and work as a team and be happy with each other's success, everyone is there with the same goal. No one is there pushing for you to make it to the majors. No one's there working for you to make it to the majors. You are there for yourself, and you got to work and show people that you're meant to be in the top tier baseball. So it's kind of like an every man for themselves way in an aspect. Obviously, there's always the team aspect, but you got to kind of put yourself first.
Yeah, definitely. And especially in the minor leagues, it's, I've got best mates who even play the same position as me. And at the start, like even not them, but like, other guys you play with on the start who are on your team, when I first started, you're like rooting against them. You're like, I kind of want you to suck so I can play.
Yeah.
But now it's different, becoming good friends with them. Like all the guys who are in the outfield with me, like I'm really good friends with. And it's not necessarily you're like, I want you to suck today. It's more like I'm fucking better than you. And I'm gonna go out there and be better than you. And I want them to have the same mindset. It's not, but off the field, it's not like, hey, why the fuck are you telling me to suck in that? It's just like, hey, we all go out there and we're all competitive and want to beat each other, and that's just how we do it.
That also makes for a better team. If you have every person on your team trying to be better than one another, they still work as a team. And obviously you don't hope the other ones fail, but you want to prove that you're bigger, better, stronger, faster, hit harder. Like that makes a better team for sure.
Yeah, 100%. I think that's the difference of like at the start, it was like, you want your teammate to suck so then you could play. Where now it's like, you don't want him to suck. You just want to do, if he goes 2 for 3, you want to be 3 for 3.
Yeah.
Or if he goes 4 for 4, you want to go 4 for 4 with like 4 home runs. Just whatever he does, you just want to do that a little bit more than him. And I think that's what, I feel like. And then it's also different. And once you go to the major leagues, it's not about who does. It's just about how you win games. You obviously still want to do good, but you want to win games. That's the main priority up there.
Yeah, that is a bigger switch. Right now, you're just pushing to be the best player on the field across all the teams, hoping that you get pulled up, hoping that you get that shot. And then when you're up there, it's if we're winning games as a team, we stay winning games as a team kind of a mindset.
Yeah, definitely. And that's the big difference. And I mean, if you have, as you said, like a bunch of guys doing that, having that same mentality, and like you're gonna have success. There's no doubt about it. But in the minor leagues, it's just more about, it's more of a selfish, I feel like, mindset than a team mindset.
Yeah, I get that. I've followed you on Instagram here over the past, I had a podcast that I did with Lumberjack.
Yes, sir. Best in the business.
Did you play with him in Australia?
Yeah, I played with Chelsea. I grew up, my mom and dad knew Chelsea. My mom and dad played softball forever. And they were playing at like the highest level of softball in Chelsea, and that knew my family. And then I think it was one of my last years on the men's Queensland state team.
Yep.
I played with Chelsea. And so I got to know him. And I think that was like one of his last ones before he went to live in Canada. And I was a baby on the team. Like I was a guy who would just sit on the bench and come in later at games. And then I think it was like when I was in GCL, maybe my first year or so, he was like, "Hey, I'm starting a batting glove company. I'd love for you to be a part of it." And honestly, without them, it would have been so much, like without Lumberjack and Chelsea, it would have been so much tougher through the minor leagues, where I wasn't like a first round pick, so I didn't get, a Franklin deal or anything. But even to this day, whenever I needed gloves or anything, Chelsea would send it out straight away. Here's 20 pairs of gloves. And that's why, like, to go to the big leagues and be able to wear them and just show, like, my appreciation for what he's done, what the company has also done for my career, was, I think, showed how grateful I was, and also cool to see, his company and the big leagues.
See, and I've noticed on your Instagram, like this is how I started this conversation with following you and seeing all the stuff that you've posted recently. You do like to promote your friends that are having success. Like I see you post when they're in a major league game and you tag them in it, and you're so pumped up to see them succeeding in what they do. And I think that's a really cool aspect, because it's not as common as most would think, but you really do push forward for the people who have supported you and helped you, and the people that you want to see succeed.
Yeah, definitely. Those guys who I play in the minor leagues with, and they're with you through the tough times of the minor leagues and that. And, they supported me as when I got called up, and to see them call up, like one of my best friends, Ben, he got to start catching last night, which in my eyes, he's the best catcher I've ever played with. Hands down, best catcher. And to see him like make his debut and do really well is awesome. And another guy, Kirilov, I played with last night, hit his first home run and then hit another one straight away after that. Like to see guys like, who I play with now killing it up there is just, it's also like a motivation to be like, I want to be back up there with my boys, but also like it's cool to see guys that I've played with who, I've roomed with now killing it up there.
It's nice to see that you are happy with their success. Like I'm sure that, I don't know if you're anything like me or anything like any other male human on this earth, but the jealousy and the just wanting it so bad has to be a factor too. But it's nice to see that you put that behind and you're just super happy for the guys that you were in the trenches with and have been going through the minors with. And it's really cool to see.
Yeah, I think that's, as we spoke about before, it just goes back to beforehand, it was a lot of that jealousy and I want you to struggle. And now it's more like, if you're doing good, I want to do better than you. Whether they're up there, I want to do better than you are doing right now up there. So it's more of a competition, but also respecting, them guys and how good of players they are.
So when did you start playing center field?
To second year in the minor leagues. I think it was
What
my
did you
second
start
year.
playing?
Shortstop.
And then they transitioned
And
you
then
to an outfielder just because of your speed?
yeah, yeah. So my first year in like GCL, I played short, second, majority first base, and majority third base.
Got that
But
wingspan.
yeah, well, that's the thing. The first thing everyone sees is like, I'm 6'4", so everyone's like, wow, he's got height. Like, but they never see the speed aspect until I actually run. And then when they saw me run, they're like, hey, you're playing outfield now. Get out there and chase the ball down.
You're
And
playing outfield
from
now and you're stealing bases.
yeah, and from then on, I was that first year I led the league in stolen bases, and I was a leadoff first baseman. So I don't think you see that much in baseball.
Well, maybe I'm wrong, but most of those first basemen you see aren't. How do I word this? They're like, some of the times they're usually tall, but sometimes they're a beefier guy. Like,
They're a big boy that can
yeah, they're usually a big guy playing first. So,
yeah, they
like
love
it
to
just,
crush the spread,
yeah,
and they love to hit homers.
man, it takes me to the Jays, honestly. Like, Vladdy's playing first. He started off in the league as like he was a big hitter, he's a big player. He was a bigger guy, and he's conditioned himself so much to lose so much weight. Do you follow many players in the league?
Yeah, definitely. And even seeing like those young guys like Bobichette,
Yeah.
I got to play against him in low A. Most of those young guys, like I either got to play against at some stage through my career, and to see them, playing up there is cool. Like Nick Madrigal with the White Sox, I played against him. Luis Robert, who's with the White Sox, we played against him, and just to see all those guys, like I played against them. It's like, wow, it's cool same thing. It's like a cool thing to see, and it's like I want to be up there playing against them again. And Tatis, and just seeing how much of an impact a lot of these young guys who are coming up are bringing to the game is
Oh yeah.
really cool to see.
It's cool to see, like, just to go back to the Jays. It's just cool to see that young team. It's a completely different mentality. It's a different like, I watch a lot of baseball. Like, I'm really a fan of the game, and to see how much different a really young team plays versus a team with maybe some veterans or some older, been in the game a little bit longer play. It does seem that there's going to be a little bit of a transition in the game, like speed wise. And I don't know. It's just cool to see them play as a team. And Bo Bichette and with Vladdy, they came up like so young and got into the game. And now they're like the head of the Jays. Like, you see their face all over the place, like just a flip of a switch in a couple of years. And they're all-stars in Canada when
Yeah.
it comes to being a baseball player.
Well, and the other thing is too, like what I just said, like it's a difference. I feel like the biggest difference is between these younger guys coming to thing is they're bringing that excitement back in baseball. And nothing against how the game used to be played, but there was a lot of unwritten rules that kind of made it very like very like professional, but they lost that side of like they lost the arrogant side of it. And that's what a lot of people like to see. Everyone loves watching football now because they get to do, they have that swag, and they have,
Yeah.
they get to be a little cocky, and think of a football player, and everyone's like, wow, he like makes himself stand out because he's like, I'm the best. I want to do the best. And these young guys coming up are pimping home runs, stealing bases, tagging up on Acuna Jr., tagging up on fly balls in the infield, like stuff you'd never see five
More
to 10 years
aggressive.
ago. Yeah, and like making stuff happen. And that's what I feel like is also going to be what brings back you know a lot of people who stop watching baseball to start watching baseball again.
See, like, over COVID, like, there's so many people that are at home, and it finally gave me the time, like, working from home now, to watch a lot more of the ball. Like, most clubs are playing over 180 games a year. It's a lot of ball that you can take in 1 year. It's a lot of
Yeah,
stuff to watch. So, um, but regardless, it's cool to hear your story and hear how you play with these young players, and how you can also see how the game's getting quicker. And when you talk about like the arrogance and the stuff, when I first noticed it, like a little bit of a swagger in a player, I obviously watched the Jays, like I've said 100 times, but it was when Jose Bautista hit a walk-off for the ALCS, I believe it was. Do you remember his bat throw?
Bat flip. Yeah.
Bat
I watched
flip?
it like a week ago. The same thing, just like even against the Rangers, I'm pretty sure it was Texas.
Yeah.
Pretty sure. Yeah. And we're watching that video, just like how that was, the big start to the bat flipping and how fired up it was and how much controversy it started then. And now it's a normal thing.
Like, oh man, it was cool. It was cool to be a Jays fan and not have them have a ton of success over the past 15, 20 years. Like they won obviously 92, 93, but to see that excitement and a packed Rogers Center that hadn't been packed in so long with just so many fans that just loved the game, to watch a guy like that who had hit so many home runs that year do a walk-off and just toss that bat like, see you later, Texas. Like, it was cool. It was a fun game. Like Odor ended up hitting him. He punched him on second.
Yep.
It's so
I remember
funny.
that too, the big old fight. But that's what I mean, like, getting that excitement in and that's what fans want to see, like that excitement of like that passion.
100%
more than anything. So
you see like all the people at a hockey game that don't really care about watching hockey, and the second a fight breaks out, it's like, oh my gosh, what's happening?
Yeah.
like your wife or your girlfriend can be sitting on the couch, you're watching hockey, a fight starts, it's like, oh, phone down, what's going on? Like finally getting some interest in the game. But it takes me back. Like I've just had a question for you. I just wanted to know, what type of person are you in the locker room? Are you like the comedian? Are you the hype man? Do you choose what's on the radio? Or are you like the dad, like let's just get our heads in the game, pump each other up? Or what are you in the locker room?
I would say I'm like a mix of everything.
All right.
I'd say like I try and run the music. I try and make the jokes. I don't know when it happened like 3 years ago, but I call everyone my son. So I don't know if that's just because I've been here for like 6 years and a lot of the other guys haven't. But I feel like I'm a bit of everything, but also like the guy in the aspect of I'm not the kind of guy like, hey, we need to lock in, but more the aspect like, if you like, I'll joke around and that, but at the end of the day, like if you need someone to talk to, like a lot of guys I feel like are comfortable to come and be like, talk to me about something serious, or if they need another set of ears to hear something, then I feel like a lot of guys will come and speak to me about that. But I don't know if it's also the Australian side of thing, but I'm just very like, they all know what they're going to get out of me. Like what I'm thinking comes straight out of my mouth. There's no like,
oh, I'm with you on that.
Maybe should I say it? And it's like, no, I'm saying it. It's just how it is.
Honestly, that's jokes that you say that. I started this podcast just because I had to do the Zoom thing, and I always wanted to have people in person. And so I started the Heart to Heart. What I wanted to do was one called Fresh Thoughts, which I just started. Like the first one released today on YouTube, and it comes out on Tuesday. But that's like the unfiltered version. Like that's like, you know what I mean? Like this is the professional talk. It's just me interviewing people and wanting to hear how their life's going and crazy moments that have happened and the highlights of them, and to have a genuine conversation. But my friends watch these podcasts and they're like, how did you go 1 hour without saying something stupid or like something offside? Or so I get that, man, where people know that you're going to say exactly how you feel, and that's good. It means people will trust you and respect that what you say is actually what you mean, and that's cool.
Yeah, I think that's why a lot of people would come talk to me, and that just because they know that they're going to get what I'm really thinking. It's not like I'm just going to sugarcoat it, because I couldn't give a shit if you like it or not. You asked what my thoughts were, so
hey,
that's what you get.
You're preaching here. I get myself into trouble sometimes with not keeping my mouth shut. So, but that's cool, man. It's really exciting to hear your story and hear where you're going through. And are you not like, I'm pretty sure you're younger than me. Are you like your early 20s?
Yeah, 24.
What the fuck? It's so crazy sometimes when you're like I looked at you and I was like this guy's 30. Like I already had research that you were like early 20s. You look older than you are, but it's like,
get it all the time. My girlfriend loves it because she's older than me, but when we go out to eat or anything, everyone thinks that I'm older than her.
That'll make her happy. But it's just like, it's so crazy. It's like you're playing in the minors. You've had a major league at bat. You're 24, And that's still a super young age. But like, I remember when Austin Matthews, like, this is a change in sports, but Austin Matthews is playing for the Leafs and he's like 18.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, this guy's signing $1 million contracts and I'm going to college. So that's exciting.
But
But
yeah,
good for
especially
you.
in this baseball, it's like, I feel like I've played it like in the minors for so long, and then I look at guys making their debuts at 27, 28,
Yep.
guys still playing. Like I played with Cruz and he was 40 when I was playing with him.
Heck yeah, man.
And it's like, you still can have a lot, as long as you look after, it's the biggest thing, just looking after yourself. Not too many late nights, not too many nights on the beers, and you'll be fine.
Yo, Joe Thornton plays for the Leafs and he's in his 40s.
See, I don't mean there's a lot of guys. I mean, Tom Brady's 57, I think. So, and he's still winning Super Bowls.
Joe Thornton got drafted into the NHL the year that Austin Matthews was born.
Now he surely is the dad of the clubhouse.
Oh yeah. Yeah. He's telling him to turn the music down.
Yeah. Come on, boys.
Oh,
too loud for me.
It'd be so funny to see the relationship between Joe Thornton and Austin Matthews. Like, he's been playing in the NHL longer than Austin's been alive. It's just crazy what sports can do, and I don't know, it just brings so many people together, man. I love most sports. I'm not a huge soccer guy, but big baseball fan. One thing I like to ask every person that I come on, it's 3 questions, and what it does is it tries to like separate our conversation from being like an interview. We're in front of a camera. We're just having a conversation. This one's been very easy to chat with you. It's been very back and forth, and I love to hear the stuff you're talking about, but I like to try and just talk about life, get away from what you're doing, get away from what I'm doing. So the first question is, are you happy with how your life is going right now, minus COVID?
Yeah, definitely. I think, I've accomplished a lot at my young age. I still feel like there's so much more to accomplish, but I feel like, if anything, as we said before, like I wish I had more time, I'd say, with my family, but as of COVID, also it's a lot different. So I feel like I would be able to see them more with either travel. I usually travel home, but COVID this year, I stay with my girlfriend. So if anything in my life right now, I'd feel like I'm in a great place. Like, great friends, great girlfriend, great family. Just, I'd say, I feel like it'd just be a little bit more family time and everything would be perfect.
That's a really good answer. Like, a lot of the things that I get are, yes, they're happy with their life. And then right away, it's things that they would change, which is always the second question, is what will you change with your life right now other than COVID? But to hear your response, I feel like professional athletes put so much pressure on themselves for success. Like, I've talked to, like, there's some people from my hometown that went into the Olympics and stuff, and I've talked to them, and they're so hard on themselves. Like, everything is, no, I need to push harder. I need to push harder. I need to push harder. And that's a great mindset to have, but to be able to sit there and actually reflect on the accomplishments you've had so far, the success you've had, the fact that you've had a major league at bat, you've had scouts come and look for you, you are clearly a very good athlete, and you decided to start playing baseball out of a freaking whim to try and play a competitive sport at a high level. So it's really awesome to hear that. Now, you did say one thing that you would change would be able to see your family more. That's obviously got to be really hard for you right now, but that is what the second question always is if there was anything you would change right now other than COVID.
Yeah, I think it'd be that. And, with my family, it's also like our family friends and that, I miss a lot of like birthdays, celebrations and stuff like that. But at the same time, it's what's kind of driven me to, I think, be more successful as I am, because as you said, like, you've got to have that mindset of like doing better and doing that better. But I think a lot of people in their careers would say that, I wish I kind of enjoyed it more, which is something that I'm happy that I can say that I've pretty much enjoyed every, moment wherever I've been. I've enjoyed it as
awesome.
much as, tried to give hard work into it, because I feel like at the end of the day, like, we're playing a game, and if you can't enjoy, the game side of things, you're going to struggle and it's going to eat you alive. So it did it for me for about a year or two playing. And then once I got that drive back and just, it was like, I'm playing a kid's game. like enjoy it. And when you enjoy it, you have more fun, and that's what you see on the TV with a lot of young guys. So I
Yeah,
think,
man,
just the
enjoying it.
biggest thing I think the biggest thing is just change would be just a little bit more family, like seeing family and that. Obviously, COVID circumstances are different, but besides that, I mean, I think I'm pretty happy with where I am and everything going on.
See, and people don't ever put themselves in that mindset when they think of celebrities or athletes or people that are making money or people that are starting to have success. They don't think of it as that is their job. And everyone will tell you, don't do a job that you're not happy with. Why be miserable working every single day as something you're not happy with? Which it's got to be the same thing, regardless of what you're doing. If you're miserable doing it, is the money really worth it? So at least you are sitting down and realizing, like, it's a good way to put it. It's a kid's sport. It's something that starts off as kids meeting other people and getting that team aspect and learning how to share and learning how to work together. And it is an amazing sport. And you've obviously been able to make a career out of it. So it's nice to see that you are happy with it. You enjoy the game, especially when you didn't start off by playing this game. It's cool to see that you're really enjoying it and that you're happy with what you're doing every day, because you've got to put a lot of time into it.
Yeah, definitely. I think, you're gonna have more success if you go there with a, positive mindset and like ready to enjoy it. Like, when you're a kid, you go there, you're like, I can't wait to go see my friends and, play on the weekend. It's the same here. Like, I got a bunch of good mates that I play with here, and like we get to go to the ballpark every day, play with a bunch of fans. And whether I'm in the minor leagues, major leagues, I feel like if I take that same mindset, I will have success.
Yeah. See, like the third question that I always ask people is, I don't think it's really related to you. I've done like YouTubers and other people that have done podcasts and people that take jumps to leave a successful career to pursue a small business and stuff like that. And I always ask them if they've had anything big happen in their life that made them make a change, that made them do a shift and decide to jump in the deep end with anything. I don't know if that's the case for you. I don't know if you were trying to pursue a different career and decided to go with baseball because of something happened, but I just thought I'd read the last question anyway, because that's usually what I ask people, but you're the first one that I've interviewed at this level.
Yeah, I think the biggest jump I probably made was, coming to baseball and like, moving countries to a sport that I had no idea about. With not having any family over here, it was kind of tough at the start too, with like, I was 18 years old
Yeah.
and I had no idea what I was getting myself into. It was exciting in that at the time too, but there's also those days where you're like, well, I've never been, this far away from my family for this long, and with the time difference, calling in that made it tough. But at the end of the day, it's been great and I've enjoyed it. But I don't think I've made a huge dive yet. Who knows? Maybe I've always said maybe NFL's on the cards. I've told all the guys here I'd love to, at the end of my baseball career, depending on how long it goes for, try and make a chop and change to hit some people with some pads.
That's hilarious, man.
I do my
Just
40
like
every year just to
goes
make
from playing
sure that I'm
softball.
close.
Goes from playing softball. I was like, yeah, man, I'm gonna play baseball. Goes to the minor leagues, goes to the majors. Then he's like, man, I think I'm gonna try football. That's so jugs.
I tell all the guys, so I do my 40 every year just to make sure I'm still quick enough to be able to play football.
That was one of the bigger sports for you then growing up?
Yeah, right. I mean, I enjoyed playing rugby. That was like one of my favorite. I mean, my dad was he's from New Zealand, so like the All Blacks are like our family. It's like our religion. So we'd always
sport.
watch him. Yeah, watch him every weekend. And I played for 3 years, and then I dealt with some like knee and Achilles issues. So that's honestly when I was like 13 and I had those Achilles and knee injuries, and like, hey, you're gonna have to take a year or two off, is when I first started playing softball. Because
now, when you were 18, you came to the States. You were alone?
Yeah.
Was that like, I'm thinking me at 18, I'm like, I was an idiot. Like, I can't imagine being shipped off to another
definitely
country.
An idiot too. But I mean, it was like, it was tough some days, but like, 18, the toughest thing was I could drink in Australia, but over here I couldn't drink.
Oh yeah.
So like that was a tough thing because it was like my 18th was like, your 18 to 19 years are like you getting ready to party and enjoy alcohol for the first time. And I come over here and it's like, gotta wait 3 more years, brother.
Wow. That's
But just,
rough.
being excited to come over into a new country and have an accent where every single person loved you was like, I was a superstar for the first year or two.
Have you noticed your accent fade at all
Yeah.
in the US?
Yeah, and I don't think it's my accent's fading. I think it's just I've learned what words not to say and to like slow down when I talk.
There's probably a couple words in Australia that mean a little different in the US.
Yeah, definitely. And then like saying the C word was like is normal sometimes back home, but when you say it here, it's like you've shot someone's kid.
Oh yeah. Like my sister's boyfriend, his mom is Scottish. Like she's got the accent, she's got it all. And like it's so weird to hear some of the words that they just freaking willy-nilly, like the cup's broken and they'll call it the C word. Like it's just like what's going on? Like it's such a different meaning, right? Like and people got to understand that if you accidentally say that kind of stuff, it's like you were raised with that not being the same thing as it is here.
Yeah, and that's a thing too. Like I feel like in different, not everyone in America, but a lot of people I've come across in America are very like how would you say it? Like not open-minded, where they don't know about other cultures, and that is like, what? How were you raised? If that's how you say it, and I'm like, it's not that my parents raised me badly. It's just like that's how everyone is. It's just how our culture is. It's a lot different to yours. It doesn't mean it's wrong.
Yeah.
It's just different, and I think I would say my accent. But like when I'm talking with a bunch of Aussies, you'll be like, "Well, there it is," and it's back to like really fast mumbling when I'm with my boys. But then now I've been here for so long, just a bunch of mumbling. But there'll be still things that I say. But I honestly, it got to the point where I think I was just over like going to get like running into the grocery store and getting like something little, like some milk, and the cashier being like, "Oh my god, like where are you from?" I'm like, "Hey, I don't have time for this. Like I just need to be in and out. I don't need you asking what it's like if I have a pet kangaroo." So I think that's when I learned to like tone down the accent.
Yeah, just try and stop every person stopping you about it.
Yeah, but if we were out and obviously not now because I'm my girlfriend, but if we were out at a bar when I first came to America, it was like, let's see how Australian I could really be.
Let's get the women fired up.
Yeah. But now obviously my girlfriend, I just try and fight. She would say I don't have it. Every one of my friends who come and visit us, she'd be like, your accent's nothing like theirs. I'm like, well, thanks. I'm just turning American each day.
Congratulations.
I know. Got a driver's license here now too. It's just like I'm just fading away.
Are you
I had to get
like you have a visa obviously to play ball, but are you like a American citizen now?
No, I just have a visa. So I just got a driver's license because I bought a car over here since I stayed. Usually every offseason I go home and play in the Australian Baseball League, but with COVID it just made it super tough, and I didn't know if I could, what coming back would be like, and I didn't want to risk missing,
you don't want to risk that.
Maybe another opportunity because I could have gone home after the minor leagues got canceled last year, and I never would have had my MLB debut. Wouldn't say never, but it would have been a lot harder.
Like what? How do they even get a hold of you being like, guess what? You're going to hit that bat in the majors. Like they give you a phone call like, hey man, you ready?
I was actually on a golf. I was at home, but I had one of my buddies who's with the Tampa Bay Rays from Australia. He was still in the States, and he's like, hey, how about I fly up and we play golf for a whole week? And I was like, twist my arm. Like I'm down. And we went to the gym we went to play golf all morning, then we went to the gym in the afternoon. And our minor league director called me. I was like, hey, we need you in Minnesota like tomorrow. That's pretty much all he said. And I'm like, well, obviously, yes. But like we had an alternate site there as well. So I thought I was going to the alternate site. And then I get there and I have like my locker in the big league side. And I have like a bunch of like my best mate, Travis Blankenhorn, who's up and down with the Twins right now. He was at the alternate side. And like, look, he's been my best friend since day one. Like I'm in his wedding. Like closest as like a non-blood related family member.
Yeah.
Like his family's my family and vice versa. But he was up there and he's like, dude, like, when are you coming here? Like, when, like, I want to see you. Blah, blah. I'm like, dude, I don't know. My stuff's over in the big league side. He's like, what? And I was like, I just flew here. I have zero idea and I'm not asking questions. I'm not trying to get kicked out.
I don't know if it's a mistake. I don't know, but I'm going to roll with it.
Yeah. So then we keep rolling him. They would come over to like hit batting practice at the big league side and he would like walk in my locker. He's like, what is going on? And I'm like, just shut up. If you don't ask questions, they can't. Yeah, they can't.
You're gonna blow my cover, man.
And then it came to the last day, and Rocco came up to me. He's like, "Hey, Whitey, like you're going to coming to Chicago with us." That's all he said. Didn't say like you're on the roster. You just come to Chicago. We're playing an exhibition game against the Cubs first, and I was like, "Well, maybe I'm just going to be just in case someone gets injured." Because Buxton was injured at the time, so that was the whole thing of why I was up there. And so we get there. They're hitting BP. We're hitting batting practice at Wrigley Field, which was sick. And I'm in the outfield, and Rocco comes up and he goes, "Hey, Whitey, like I'll let you know in the next couple of days about opening day rosters and stuff." And I was like, "Still, I have not asked anything. I'm in there like a mouse." And I knew like Max Kepler was like one of my boys too, until I lived with at Spring and that. So he's been up there forever. And I was kind of like talking with him. I'd like ask him like, and he's like, "Dude, I don't know." And I'm like, "Well, I'm not asking questions, so we're just gonna roll with it." And Rocco, we had a day off, and then opening day. And on the day off, Rocco texted me at 12 a.m. I was like, "Why are you still awake?" And obviously, me being me, I answered within 3 seconds of receiving that text message. And I was like, "Yes, like he's like, "Can I come to your room?" And I was like, because we were like at COVID times, it was like it was in the middle of COVID, so it was real strict. But he came to our room and just said, "Hey, why do you like, he made the opening day roster?" And I was just standing there like, "What?"
Did you hug him?
Yeah, he gave me a hug. We hugged, and he's like, and it was like awkward because I just had I did nuts. So I was like,
"What do you appreciate it?" I can barely speak now.
Yeah. And the other thing was like everyone back home was like trying to ring me like every day. Like my mom and parents like, "Hey, what are you doing? Like, are you on the team?" Like, I'm like, "I don't know." I'm not asking questions. You don't ask questions.
You know as much as I do.
Can't get kicked. Yeah. And then when I called him, like my mom cried, stepdad cried. I think dad did. Just a big cry session. So my girlfriend cried. It was just up till 5 a.m. I think that day. Crying.
So you made the opening day roster. What did that mean for you going forward?
For me, like as everyone says, and I mean, it's not a sound of like, how do you say it? It's not that I was like, there's a lot of people that just want to say like they played in the major leagues.
Yep.
I can always say that, but like for me, it wasn't just like, I was up there for 2 weeks and I came in a couple games. Like that was never like why I do all this. Like my thing is like I want to be in the big leagues, have like a career in the big leagues. That's why I told everyone, because everyone's like, "Wow, like you made the big leagues like this." And I'm like, well, to me, I made the big leagues, but it's not like I reached my goal, if that makes sense.
Like you don't explain to people that you're a Major League Baseball player.
Yeah, exactly.
Not until you've had a season with a team.
Yeah, not until like I can look back and say like that's what I wanted to do. Like I've reached my like goal. And like when people ask like what everyone will ask like, "All right, like where are you at? Like what's the highest you play?" And then I'll be like, "Yeah, I've played in the major leagues." But for me, it's like, well, like you've reached the top. Like that, you can at least say you're a big league. And I'm like to them, like I didn't want to be known for the guy like if it happens and I don't end up being able to make it back, then I always am grateful that I can say I was a Major League Baseball player. But I'll still have that disappointment that I didn't reach my full goal of being able to say I played a couple of years in the big leagues or a season, or just have like a decent showing up there.
So I'm not familiar with how that all works. Like you got brought up for the opening day roster, you hit. Did you play in the game? Like you fielded?
Yeah, I fielded. I came in, so I never started a game. I came into games 5 times, I think it was, to play
Huh?
defense later. And they told me beforehand, like, hey, like when you use you as a defensive replacement at the end of games, or if we need a pinch run for an extra run. Like one day I came in at like 3-0 against the Cardinals, important game, and like they wanted just extra defense, and that's when I got my at bat. But it was just I was like a fourth outfielder going and playing, coming in and that, and then once Buxton came back is when I got sent down. So, and I mean for me it was like they sent me down. It was no hard feelings. It wasn't like I was still just amazed that I was up there at that stage.
Yeah.
But it was just yeah, it was a crazy time, and so now it's just getting back up there. Still with the Twins. I have one more year with the Twins on my contract, and if I get back up there, then that's great too. But if not, then I'm a free agent to, look around and maybe move teams or stick with the Twins.
Jays, man.
Yeah, Jays.
Come to Canada.
Well, you guys do have. I mean, Minnesota is cold in the seasons, and they have an outdoor stadium, which is not fun. Where the Jays have an indoor stadium, so now we're talking.
That's right. That's it's humbling, and it's a hard thing to process, just even as someone just talking to you. It's just crazy the amount of emotions that you would go through going from 5 years like softball, hardball, big leagues, being pulled up, not knowing what's going on. Hey, you're going to play. You're on the starting roster, filling the spot 5 times, having a major league at bat. Now back to the minors just because the guy came back. Do you ever think like there might be more opportunity for you elsewhere?
Yeah, definitely. I think the Twins have a really good team. They have a young outfielder, and in center field they have the best center fielder in the game. And I think no one will doubt that Buxton, especially defense and now offensively, is the best, if not one of the best outfielders in the game. So, and I'm grateful Twins gave me an opportunity, signed me, and I've had a great career with them. And if it works out with the Twins, then I'm happy as well because I've got to know all the front office and everyone here, and it's like a big family to me. But if opportunity is elsewhere, whether it is MLB here or it's Japan or there's options in Korea too, then that's something I'd love to explore. And but it's just always having an open mindset. It's just not being too stuck on one team, and just seeing because there's other opportunities out there. And just I think that's maybe one of the things of like as we spoke about taking that jump, one of your questions, and taking a risk somewhere else, or fresh team that know nobody on.
Maybe someone with a poor outfielder.
Yeah.
Someone that, well, at least the biggest thing is the thing that would be going through my head the entire time I got pulled out there to be in the outfield was I need to make a showstopper play. Like I need to, like, I don't know. I'd be so nervous. I'd be like, I need to prove myself. I need to show that I'm good. Like lay out for some freaking 9-foot ball, beam someone out at home plate. Like you just, did your mindset go to like, I need to do something crazy?
Yeah, and I mean, if anything was like, I feel like I would have jumped 15 feet up on the fence to catch a home run that was hit. I was in that, and I mean, everyone speaks about my speed and that. And the other thing was, I got on base. I mean, I came to pinch run. My first debut was a pinch run, and I was like, all right, I'm gonna set like the Statcast record, whatever it is. I'm gonna set it, and so then everyone knows that I'm like one of the quickest guys up here. And Nelson Cruz, and I was like, all right, I'm on first. If I just score, it's going to be perfect. And Nelson Cruz hits a line drive, and I'm like, it's going to hit. This is perfect. I'm going to keep running. I don't like, even if Tony, like third base coach, holds me, I'm going. Like I'm sending it, and I'm going to show everyone how quick I am. And Cruz hits a home run. Like the ball gets out, and it's a home run. So I started sprinting,
like, which is exciting at the same time, but
yeah, I was like, so I never. And then the other opportunity when I could have stole, we were up by 10 runs. So I was like, well, can't steal now.
Do you guys do that as like a courtesy thing?
Yeah, just so no one gets drilled and killed by a pitcher.
That's fair. Man.
But yeah, I mean, I was looking for every opportunity, but also I didn't want to like, steal with 10 and be like, oh, you can see my speed. But then also people like, he has no feel for the game.
That's true. No, that's good,
So
man.
it's like,
That's good for
yeah,
you to be able to turn that off, to turn off like let's see how fast I can get around these bases. Make this 11-1.
yeah. And I think
But
once the other thing too was different was like, at the start I was very quiet, as I said, but then like as I was on the roster, I kind of was like, hey, I want to be myself, and I started opening up and just being myself in the locker room. And it's not like myself beforehand was like a dick or anything like that, but it
yeah,
just when you first get to like the major league, I was sitting in the corner like, if I don't say anything, I can't get in trouble. So
it's like,
hey,
hi guys,
yeah,
thanks for having me.
yeah, thanks for letting the bat boy in.
I
You're
remember
welcome.
like I was searching up your stats to see where you had been and what teams you had played on and where your career has taken you so far before I came on here. And it literally showed like major league, 1 at bat, 1 run. And I was like, no fucking way this guy hit a bomb on his first at bat. But like you
No,
get
I
on first
was
and you're like, man, I'm jazzed. I'm stealing.
yeah, I was trying so hard to. Well, that one run was that Nelson Cruz home run that I got to trot around on. But I was my first at bat. So on the bench, I mean, I think it was like a week before I had my first at bat, and everyone's talking to me, and it's just like, all right, you gonna swing at the first pitch? And I'm like, yes, I'm gonna swing at the first pitch. Like, come on. And I was like, all I need is like a nice little like soft lefty or like soft on righty where I can just feel comfortable, get in there. Maybe like a blowout, so there's no stress on me. So I came in and it was 3-0 to 3-0 to us against the Cardinals. And so they have, it's not like they have and not like anyone's a bad pitcher, but it's not like they have one of their weaker arms throwing.
Yep.
And Cruz and Rosario hit before me, and the guy struck out both of them. And I'm like, wow, this is gonna be fun. And I was looking at the radar gun, and it was 99, 98, 99. I'm like, oh, wow, I haven't had that bat in 3 weeks, so let's see how
Better swing fast.
But I was so locked on hitting the first pitch that he threw it 98. And I think if I left it, it might have hit me. But I was locked in, so then I hit it, and I thought he got through to right field, but Colton Wong got it and got me out. But it was like it was a like ground ball to the right side, and he fielded it in the hole and got me out. Nearly snuck through, but I was like, it was like get my stuff to like hit with, and yeah, that's over. And I'm like, whoa. I was like, I shouldn't have sung at the first pitch.
That's hard though, man. That's such a hard mindset. Like you're going into the majors, you're so jazzed. You're like, man, I gotta do something crazy. Like your mind's going 1,000 beats a minute. Like you almost need that second at bat now that you've had the like jitters and the like, I'm gonna swing. Like you know what to do better now. At least you're trying to like improve. You're not just like, frick, I should do that again.
Yeah, and that's something. And like the other thing I knew was like, I didn't know, like as you said, like I came for pinch hits. So I don't know if I'm ever getting another bat again. So it's like I don't want to just take a bunch of pitches. You best believe I ain't walking. That's not happening. So it was just like, he's gonna like I'm making my debut. He's just gonna try and sneak one in. But no, he knew what he was doing.
Damn.
But the other thing was cool was Yachty was catching behind me too. So.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so Yachty was a catcher, so to be up close and personal with him was pretty cool.
Yeah, come up for your fucking debut and a guy throws a 98 mile an hour fucking
two seam right at my chest.
Oh man, that's rough. But anyway, I appreciate you coming on and doing this. I love to hear the story. I would love to do this again someday when I get better equipment and can do some more stuff. I do want to travel to all the Major League Baseball parks. It's on my bucket list. I was supposed to get married last year, and I would have done Washington, Baltimore, New York, and Boston. But obviously COVID kind of stopped that, but I want to come through the reins and I want to come see all the different parks, and hopefully someday I can reach out to you when I'm traveling across the States and I'll bring this stuff with me and we can chat and have a beer.
Yeah, definitely. I would love to.
Well,
awesome, my man. Appreciate it.
I'm glad that it's not lagging today as much as it has been. So
once I got off that Wi-Fi, we were good.
I live out in the middle of nowhere, man. I get like 6 megabits a second. I got to hotspot my phone just to be able to see clearly on this thing. So, but
That's what I've been doing with my PlayStation to play some PGA.
well, anyway, I appreciate you taking the time. I wish you all the best. Nothing but success. You're such a humble guy, and obviously you make a difference in the locker room with the teammates you're playing in the minors right now. Hopefully you get pulled up again and we can see you play for the majors. But regardless, thanks for taking the time today. And I hope you have a good day.
Awesome, my man. Appreciate it. I'll talk to you soon.
Yeah, man. See ya.